Hello friends, family, and internet strangers, Stephanie here with a new What's for Dinner. I hope this gives you a little bit of weeknight meal inspiration. First up, some barbecue chicken tenders, which I did in the air fryer. I had a few chicken tenders left over after making a recipe. I froze some and then I still had a few left. I try to buy my meat in bulk and then freeze it because otherwise it is just too expensive to buy smaller servings of meat. But I had this Kinder's the barbecue blend that I hadn't tried yet, so I decided I would just do some chicken tenders in the air fryer this night. I sprayed these with a little bit of avocado oil so the seasoning would really stick to them, and then just kind of rubbed the seasoning in there. Got it a little bit marinated, and then this is what the seasoning looks like. It is Kinder's the barbecue blend, and I did really like this. It was pretty good. I put these in the air fryer until they hit that internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit and served them with some sweet potato fries and sugar-free barbecue sauce. I had sweet potato fries in the freezer, threw those in the air fryer with the chicken. That was easy and delicious. Not as easy, but definitely delicious, is this honey chicken. So these are going back a ways in these videos. The chicken tenders that I just showed y'all were from January. I had those. That was one of the last meals I cooked before I went home for a month. And then this is one of the first things I cooked when I got back. While I was home, my mother had asked me to make this honey chicken, which I have shown on my channel before. I will link it down below. It is one of my family's favorite recipes. It is a special occasion recipe, partially because it does take a little bit of work. It's not quite as much work as I had thought when I was growing up. I thought it was massive amounts of time and energy, and it's a bit more than what I would normally do, but not as much. But I did realize as I got older, it was just so unhealthy. This is not a healthy meal. So if that is what you were looking for, I'll have videos in the future with some healthier meals. This is not going to be one of them. But I will link the video down below. The last time I had made this was for my parents' anniversary in 2021 while I was at home. So anyways, my mother wanted me to make this for her while I was home. We didn't do it while I was there, but when she came back to LA with me, I made this for a nice dinner for the two of us. So what is going on here is that I have put my chicken into a bag with some flour, paprika, salt, pepper. I will have the recipe linked down below as well as the video where I made this in the past. But this is then going to go into a pan of melted butter. So I melt the butter. For me, I just put it in the oven. So I put the whole pan in the oven with the butter in it. You could also melt the butter in the microwave and then pour it into your pan. But I just make sure both sides have the flour mixture and the butter and throw that in the oven. Now, while those are in the oven, you make the sauce, which is lemon juice, honey, and butter, more butter. That is why this is so unhealthy. It is several sticks of butter go into making this meal. But I had a little bit extra of the sauce, so I decided to put it on top of our dinner rolls. We just got those break apart, heat and serve dinner rolls. And then once my chicken is halfway cooked, I'm going to pour this sauce over it and also flip it around just to make sure it does get on both sides. So this is one of my family's favorite meals, as I mentioned before, but yeah, lots and lots of butter go into this one. The best thing to serve this with is mashed potatoes, and I also like to use the excess sauce from the pan that has cooked in with the chicken as my gravy on my mashed potatoes. And then I always serve this with a vegetable as well, but when it's my mother, it's always going to be a starchy vegetable like a corn or peas. So we had peas on this particular day, so here is the meal. Next up, ravioli. I had some frozen ravioli and I had sauce in my freezer. And if you have not seen my video of where I make sauce and meatballs, because I do make my own spaghetti sauce, I will also have that one linked down below. But essentially all I did for this one was throw the ravioli in some boiling water once it was cooked. I threw it in with my sauce that had just been taken out of the freezer and heated up in this little saucepan here. And then I put the ravioli into a baking dish along with some cheese on top, and then bake that. So this was a baked ravioli. You could also throw in some spinach with this, would be really good. You could throw in meatballs, but at this point I was out of meatballs. I only had sauce left over. And then you could also put some ricotta in this if you wanted to, but all I had on hand was mozzarella and Parmesan, which I'm pretty sure I didn't even have on hand. I think this day I had to go to the grocery store to pick it up, but I had everything else on hand other than the mozzarella cheese. But this was another easy meal while my mom was in town, and then I sprinkled a little Parmesan on top. I served this with some bread that we had gotten from Aldi. The day before, when my mom went to Aldi for the very first time, she saw these cheesy breadsticks, which I have had before, and she wanted to try those. So we had those with our ravioli, and it was delicious. Next up, I've got some fajita veggies and rice. I had intended to do a Daniel fast this year during Lent, and I was not in the emotional state to do it. And I know that's kind of the point of a Daniel fast, is to help out with that, but yeah, it was not happening. So this was the one day of a Daniel fast that I did before I gave up on that. I will try again next year. But I make my own fajita seasoning, so this is what it is, all of the ingredients listed on there, and I'll also have a link down below to what recipe I kind of based this off of. I did add a little bit more of the garlic powder and onion powder just because I had gotten a little extra cayenne in there that I hadn't intended on, and decided I should probably even that out a little bit. Also, I just really love garlic powder and onion powder. So season to taste, but I had some onions and some peppers that I had meal prepped because it's easier for me to cook after work if I have already chopped everything up in advance. So I normally will prep my peppers and onions on one of my days off and then use them when I get home from work on a different day. So I have avocado oil in the pan, and then I am just going to add some garlic to this as well, and I add my fajita seasoning in, keep stirring it up, and I served this with brown rice. I cook my brown rice in the Instant Pot. So in the Instant Pot, I put in 2 cups of rice and 2.5 cups of water. Also make sure when you are cooking rice that you are washing your rice. I did not learn that until social media, and that was a good tip because my rice turns out so much better when I wash it. So you want to wash it until the water is kind of clear. So usually that's about 3 different times that I put water in and kind of mix it around. And then for brown rice, I do that in the Instant Pot for about 20 minutes and then a natural release. I do like my rice pretty soft, so that turns out really well when I do 20 minutes and then the natural release. And here is the finished product with the fajita veggies. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all found some great meal ideas from this video. These were really simple meals for the most part. And again, I will have videos linked below to the ones that I have referenced in this video. I hope you all have an amazing week. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and the subscribe button down below.